Good morning, Bickies. How's it going? It's Tara. I hope you're all having a lovely morning so far. I'm just going to inhale some coffee. This morning's biscuit box is a little bit late. I was at a school Halloween event. So running back, picking out spiders from my hair to bring you some good content today. I'm going to continue with the Q&A from the community Bite the Biscuit. We have lots of questions in there on your creativity, on business, and I'm going to share some insight and drop some nuggets and start a conversation with you guys on the Biscuit Box every Wednesday at 11 a.m. ish, if it's not Halloween. So I hope you're all good this morning. I wanted to dive into this subject today, how to start a business with your art. And this is a question that I get asked a lot. People are making, and there's no question that creative people love to make, to create. That's in its essence why we're on the planet. We like to create, to make, to have an impact with our work. And so that's not the problem. Not saying that there is a problem. That's not the kind of query around this topic. It's how do you, step by step, what is the process for taking that creativity, for taking the action that you're so involved with, that you're so passionate about, and making a business out of that. And I'm going to talk through some very simple but essential steps that you need to address if you're ready to do that with your creativity. And there's a few steps that you probably will have not thought about yet, or that you think you're too early for, or perhaps you might be focusing on the incorrect things. And I think from experience, and I have worked with thousands now of creative business owners or creative people that want to do this full time, that they want to make a living from their creativity. And I get this a lot, and I see this a lot, that people focus on the incorrect things at that time. And I think people think too far ahead, and the fundamental basic structure of a business is overlooked. So I'm going to talk you through a few key steps that you can actually implement or think about right now if you're at that stage in your business. Okay, so that's what the conversation is going to be like today. If you're in, please say hello in the comments. I'd love to hear from you if you're watching me live, and if you're watching me on the replay, I'd love you to say hi as well and tell me where you're from or where you're listening in from. Also, these live shows are on every Wednesday. So if you want to get notified of when we go live and not miss an episode, you can drop a comment in the comment box saying box, B-O-X. Just put in the word box and you will be subscribed to the show, and you'll get notifications of the show. Hey, Angela, how's it going? Hey, Sinead, how's it going? So that's it. So put your comment box into the comment box, and I'll notify you every week then that the show is going live. I'm just going to put this into the Bite the Biscuit. If you haven't joined Bite the Biscuit, it's our free community over in a Facebook group. It's called Bite the Biscuit. I'll leave the link in the comments below this live stream. Please come over and join the community. There's nearly 5,500 creative people in there right now, and it's super supportive. It's a fantastic place to be if you need help with resources, with ideas, with support, with Jeannie Mac being weird and wonderful and not having to not say stuff. I get lots of very polite people that email me or message me first going, is it okay if I post this in? There are no rules in Biscuit Land. post away, mad. The community will decide. And that's the way Biscuit rolls. I'm all about freedom, expression, being you for who you are. And we've enough rules in our lives. And I think let's create a respectful space organically without having to drill the rules in. We're all intelligent beings. And I think we should give each other that respect. So Bite the Biscuit, it's all happening in there. I'll leave the link in the comments. So I'm just going to take 2 seconds to remind Bite the Biscuit that I am now live. I'm typing this as I say it over on the Biscuit page. So I hope you're good. Please leave a comment in if you're watching and tell me where you're actually tuning in from. I'm always interested to know where people are tuning in from. Page, okay. How to create a business from your art. Okay. So that's done. Okay, back to it. Okay, so I want to see, oh, hello, there's loads of people in. Hey, Danielle, how's it going? Hey, James, how's it going? James from Cork. Up Cork, James, up Cork. I'm a Cork onion, as I always say, Cork onion as well, and great old spot Cork is. I'm in Dublin now, but sure, you can't beat the real capital A, James. So it's good to see there's a few people in. Okay, so I want to, I suppose, ask you guys as well that are listening on the live, are you ready? And this is the first question I ask anybody that I work with on a mentoring level. And it's something that I think is very, very important. When you're a creative and you are creating beautiful work and you might be fresh out of college, or you might just be at that stage, a crossroads in your life going, okay, what do I really want to do here? And a lot of people find that very challenging for a good reason, because it's head-wrecking, like, how am I going to make this decision? And the first question that I always ask people that struggle with making a decision around their creative work, I always ask them this: do you want a business or do you want a hobby? And I think that is a very important question to answer honestly, because I find this a lot. People think they want a business around their creative work when actually they just want to create. Having a business around your creative work is a very different beast. Why? Because you have to sell it, you have to market it, you have to look at your work in a different way than perhaps what you innately want to do. And I think that's a decision that you make with your life. Like, do I want to go down this route? And if you do, that's cool. That's a big one, because if you're constantly fighting with, I don't want to do this, I hate this selling bit, I don't want, I just want to sit in my studio and create. That's all I want to do. Then there's a bit of a problem there, because the reality is business and making money around whatever it is you do is different. And there's a lot of learning in there. There's hard work. There's, a lot of frustration, and it's like a roller coaster. And you might see that a lot, like funny kind of scribbles, or, you see those doodles of people putting up the life of an entrepreneur and a creative entrepreneur, because the work is so personal, is so hard and so emotional, and so very, very, I won't say, yes, emotional, but it's very, very unpredictable. So one day you're all over it, you're on it, you're getting results. The next day, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I can't do this. Just know that that is normal. Every entrepreneur, especially in the creative sector, feels that. So don't think it's you. A big thing as well, I want you to think about, if you're struggling with you might be in business and you might be creating and you might have all this stuff done, but you're still struggling. Remember, knowledge is very, very powerful, and education is important. If you're at that struggle bit, you have it all done, you keep doing the same thing, it's not getting you results. There's a little bit missing. There's something not working in that cog. And it's to figure out what that is and either get someone to fix it for you so it turns, or educate yourself so you're able to plug that in so it turns. Or you need to take apart the cog and reassemble it because it's not working. And that's with every business model. And I've been in business for 26 years. I've taken apart businesses, I've put them back together. I've run businesses that were all brilliant from the start. And that's the way it works. So never think it's easy. It's not. But the first question I want you to honestly answer, like deep down inside yourself, do I want to make my creativity a business, or am I happy working 9 to 5 somewhere and doing it for the love of it? Do you know what I mean? So that's a big question that I want you to honestly answer. Who else is in? Hey, Lucy, how's it going? Welcome. Hey, Claire, how are you? And I'd love to hear in the comment box where you sit on that. And have you honestly answered that question with yourself ever? Sometimes I think we're nearly forced into creating that world, that business around our work, because we can, because our work is so amazing, because you know, fundamentally that's that's all we want to do. But running a business is different. It takes a lot of different skills. It takes a lot of late nights and heavy lifting, but it's so worth it, by the way. But it's a decision. Now, when you make the decision, that's a different ballgame. Then gung-ho, let's do this, and you will do it. It might take you longer than you want. It might be harder than you thought, but you will do it. And the support is there and the learning is there. And it's the best time ever in the history of the world to be an entrepreneur. We have the internet, we can sell online. It's just figuring out how to do that. That's the challenge. Okay, so hit me in the comment box if you have a business, if you are actually selling your work right now, or if you are just thinking about it and you don't know actually how to start the whole process. So I'd like to know where the audience is sitting on this topic this morning. You know what? I've given up coffee. This is my cup of coffee. I've given up coffee, but I poured one there thinking I needed it, but I'm not going to drink it. I drank a little bit and went, ugh. It's funny, isn't it, how that happens? Okay. Am I back? Can you see me? Oh, I'm back again. Did I just disappear there? Sorry. Okay. Lucy says, I'm in the very early stages. I just want to show your comment there, Lucy. Sorry if I just disappeared there. Woo, it's Halloween. Okay, cool. You're in the very early stages, Lucy. Exciting. I must say, as a person that has done this a lot, it has to be my favorite time. I think that's why I keep coming up with new products and new business ideas within Biscuit. It's the startup phase. I just love it, and it's so exciting, Lucy. I'd love to know what you do. Please feel free to pimp your idea or what you do in here as well. Sinead says, just started selling in a shop and just started online shop. Great stuff. That's great, Sinead. Well done. That's brilliant. Danielle says, I've been doing the part-time thing for two years and now seriously wanting to go full-time with Naturally at the Wren's Nest. Scary. You're ready. I know that. You know I know that, Danielle. You are ready. You are so ready. And more importantly, Your product is ready. Your product is ready. I'm going to talk, and this will all make sense to people watching this, why I say that to Danielle. Danielle has an amazing product that she's worked her balls off to get where it is right now. And I'm so proud of you, Danielle. And it just, I can feel it. You know, Danielle, is that you can feel it, that you're ready now. It's time to just go for it, girl. I'm telling you. Claire, hi, Claire. Claire says, hey, Tara, just got my shop up and running, but now I'm feeling completely stuck to how to generate sales. Yes, I know the feeling. And you know what? I work with so many people that have the idea, that they're getting the product together, and you're working so much on this. You're putting together the website, you have your social media. It's like, yeah, and that's a huge project in itself. Like, you've all the images and all the back end stuff, and you're immersed in it, and it's heavy lifting. Like, that's really heavy lifting. And then when you press publish and the website's live and your social is live and you're interacting in it, and then it's like, if anyone has gotten married or had a baby, it's all this build up to this big moment in your life, and then it's here, and then you're either going to, and then it's like, what do I do now? Do you know what I mean? It's like this big anticlimax. What do I do? Like, it's like when you finish art school. Oh, brilliant, out into the world. Yay! What do I do now? You see, there's no roadmap, is there? Like, well, there actually is. So I can share some of that with you today. Okay, so you're setting up your website, or you have your products, or you have an idea, and or you're creating, right? And you're happy with your products and you're happy with your work. And your friends and family say your work's amazing. And, someone down in the local shop saw your work and they think it's great. And people are asking you to make stuff for presents, and your creative work has evolved like that, from people requesting it for themselves, or you start making it as a gift alternative because you love what you do, but you're feeding off that energy that you get from people that say, that's gorgeous, or I love that. Like, how gold is that? I think that's nearly the drug we're all after, is that people like what I do. Like, no money can, I think money comes after. It's that pleasure you get from making other people happy for what you have created. Like, that's the gold. Like, I'm sorry, that is the gold. And that's what we're chasing, right? So in context, you are creating, people are telling you that they like your stuff. You decide, okay, do I turn this into a business, or how does this work? So the first thing that I ask is that you test your product on customers you don't know, or people that don't know you, right? Because what tends to happen is people's family and friends, this is just like, just as I think of it, it kind of makes perfect sense. Sorry, I tend to talk to myself a lot. Okay, so what tends to happen is your family and friends know you, and they love you, and they see how passionate you are about what you do, and they look at your work and they see the creations that are coming from you, and they're engaged in what you do, and they see it a lot because you're showing them and you're making presents for them, and and so you have an invested audience for your creativity, right? That are all love what you do. But some nugget here, and I never want you to forget this. They're engaged and they're invested because it's you. It's you they love and they're invested in. It's the passion you have as the creator behind the product and the service and the work that you create. And thirdly, it's the product and the service that they're in love with, right? I never want you to forget that. It's you. The creator behind the work is as important as your work. And this translates to branding. And I teach this very deeply in the foundation program that I run every now and again with the Biscuit Factory. This is the premise. This is the foundation of your business. It's all about you. It's how you are, what you believe in, what your why is, the vision around what you want to create. That's what people fall in love with, right? Just always keep that in your mind. I don't ever want you to think that's irrelevant, that your experience, that your thoughts, your creative mind is irrelevant. It's just about the finished product. No, it's not. It's actually the opposite, in my opinion. Now, other people may disagree. I'd love to hear what you think about that. But from experience and from building brands for a long time, it's about you. So never underestimate you in this whole thing. Okay. I just want to go into the comments there now and see what you're saying to me. Lucy says, thanks, Tara. Very excited too. It's been incredible to get a response to my work, which has been something I've done typically more so privately for myself. I feel my day job takes me away from my creative space as opposed to allowing me to support myself creatively. So the dream is to go full-time artist. Brilliant. Just like Danielle. And Danielle is about to go full-time too. Not long now, Danielle. And Lucy, you won't be far behind her, but you need to put in the groundwork definitely in the foundation for all that to enable that. Okay, so never underestimate the power of you in this whole business world is the first thing I'd say to you. How did I start talking about that? Okay, so it's testing your product on people that don't know you. Now, that's a very important step in going down that business route, taking your business or your product or service to a different level, because you're taking the knowledge, the invested love that people have that know you, that want to support you, you're taking that away and you're stripping yourself naked and putting yourself in front of a cold audience, as they say in sales, in the sales world or the marketing world. It's a cold audience. So they don't know you, they don't know your product, and you're putting it in front of them and seeing the reaction to your product or service and learning from that experience. So I would never suggest people invest shitloads of money in a big fancy website, loads of images and all this stuff if they have not validated your product or service. Validation is very, very important. Will people buy my product? Is there a market for what I do? And how am I going to reach a bigger audience? So I want to ask you one thing. Well, I'm going to ask you loads of things. So one is irrelevant. Forget I said one. Ask you one thing. This is the second thing I'm asking you. I want to ask you another thing. When is the last time you sold a product or a service to somebody that you didn't know? When's the last time you went to a craft fair and tested your product to a market that you think would buy your product? When is the last time you approached a shop with your product to see, okay, you think it fits, do they think it fits? Is this something, and they're very tuned into their audience and their markets. That's always a good indicator of where you're going with what you do. I think that you need to spend time doing that initially when you have an idea or you have a body of work that you're trying to sell. It's all well and good gifting things and getting your family and friends to buy them, and maybe a friend of a friend. But ideally, to move forward in the business world, you have to make sure that your product and what you're offering the world has a market. Now, it could be 3 people or 1 person could buy it. That's all you need. All you need is 1 person to buy what you do that you don't know, that don't know you, and you're on the ball. You game on. That's it. 1 person, that's it. And then you just have to find more of that person. So Tell me who has had experience about that. Have you tested your product? Give me a yes or a no. And a lot of the time, you could be in development. You could be learning how to create what you do. You could be developing a feel of what you do. You mightn't be ready to test it yet, or you might be scared shitless. What if no one buys it? What if they think it's shit? And this is what happens all the time. I will just stay in my studio and I'll keep creating because I'm afraid that if I put it out there, no one will like it. And then what do I do? Well, then you go back to the drawing board and you create something else. Or you go to a different space to sell, because you could be putting your product offering in the incorrect space, or the incorrect audience. So tell me, have you sold to strangers yet? Are you there yet? Have you tested it to people, like in a local kind of environment, at a school fair? I mean, don't be afraid to start really small, testing out your stuff as well. Okay, Danielle says, that's the biggest thrill, selling to someone who's not a friend or a friend of a friend. Yes. And you know what, lads? It is the biggest confidence booster, because, and this is one of my slogans: feel the fear and do it anyway. And that slogan, or that saying, comes into my business every feckin' week. Like, okay, Tara, feel the fear and do it anyway. If you're not feeling the fear, you're not pushing forward. That is what it's about. So if you're stuck in your studio, if you're afraid, but you're not going to move out of the studio to put it in front of people. And it is scary, like, it's so scary, lads, but you have to do it, or else you're going to stay doing the same thing forever and you're not going to push forward. So feeling fear is, celebrate that, because it means you're ready to take another step. There has to be another step now. Feel it, feel that fear and go for it. Like, if it doesn't work, so what? Failing or not selling something is a good thing. Why? Because you learn. Why didn't they like that? Now talk to people. What do you think? I'm not sure. The price point could be wrong. You could be putting in front of the wrong people. You could have the wrong frame on it. You could be using the wrong wording. Like, there's always something that you can tweak to make it commercial or make it marketable. There's always a solution. That's the thing. It's not quit, I'm going back and I'm going to work in Tesco. No offense to Tesco. You know what I mean? So never think it's a failure is a failure is a failure. It's just a learning curve. It's all a learning curve. Okay. So Valerie says, yes, I've sold to strangers. Nice one. Hey, Val, how's it going? Sinead said, I've sold to people I don't know. Great. Angela, yes, in galleries, exhibition, RDS a few years ago. Brilliant, Angela. Your work's incredible, by the way. Claire, yes, sold through exhibitions. Well done. Darren, yes. Well done. Hey, Darren. Hey, Melissa, yes, yes. Okay, great. So you have sold. Brilliant. So then you know that there's a market there, right? There's a market for your work. So the next question I'm going to ask you, it's question number 3, is what do you know about that person, that customer that you've sold to? Do you know them? Not as in personally, but do you know things about them? Are they into like attributes, demographics, interests, what kind of social media they're onto? Have you kind of looked at your customers to see, is there a pattern with who I'm selling to? What does that ideal customer look like? Not blonde hair, blue eyes kind of thing, but their personalities. Did I do really well at a certain type of market, like a holistic based market with lots of yoga people there and people in that space? Are they my target market? Do they like my work more than, say, the other school kind of market where, you know, it was mothers who weren't interested in, I just have a big tree with bananas. Don't ask me where I got that image, but they're not interested in bronze banana trees. They're not interested in that, but the others were. Okay, that's interesting. So I want you to look at those customers that you've sold to, wherever they were, and however you however that transaction happened, I want you to ask yourself, what do I know about these people? If you have no information about the person individually, think about where or how you sold to them. Was it the RDS, like Angela mentioned, and galleries and exhibitions? That tells a lot about that person, right? They go to the RDS to buy art. It's gallery people. So they're interested in artwork. They're probably interested in fine art, opera, fine dining, shopping you can nearly predict the type of person, or have a good indicator of the type of person that you're trying to sell to. And knowing who you're trying to sell to is vital when you want to sell stuff, whether online or offline. It is essential. Why? Because the language that you use, how you're communicating out via image, video, blog posts, content that you're creating, however you're doing that, and that's another whole beast of a thing to dive into. But you can't talk to everybody the same way about your work. You don't want to talk to everybody the same way about your work. You want to talk to your ideal client a particular way about your work, because that language has to make sense to them. That pain point that you're trying to solve has to make sense to them, not to the mommies that don't like bronze banana trees. They're not even going to listen. They might see the stuff, but it's going to go over their head. They're not interested. You want to talk to your ideal client particularly. But if you don't know who your ideal client is, or have any idea of it, if you just have no clue, they're just human, then you're going to find selling very, very difficult. So think about that. Who are you actually trying to talk to? Who is your audience? And do you know anything about the people that you just told me that you've already sold to? Any questions on that, gang? Hey, Kaya, how's it going? So hit me with any questions around that. And knowing who you're selling to is a very deep and very important part of business. And marketing, like all marketing and sales, is around knowing your ideal client. Plus, and this is especially for you guys, especially for creative people who find selling really, really difficult, and who would prefer not to have to sell and would nearly give away their products for free if someone told them that they love their work. Because again, we go back to that gold rush, that hit, that high that we're all chasing, right? My God, people actually like what I do. They enjoy what I'm after creating from my skill, from my brain. They love what I do. This is amazing. The money, oh yeah, that'd be great too. Like, but oh my God, that's what we're chasing, right? That's dangerous, because when money comes into it and selling that, we're happy with that a lot of the time. We just want that. Please just tell me again I'm not mental, like I've been fed for all my youth. You're just the mental crazy one. Go and just, play with your stuff. It's not a real job. Like, we've all been conditioned to feel that, right? So when someone says, oh, that's really beautiful, God, you should sell them. What? Really? Here, have it. Have 12 of them. Yay. So when you have to sell it, and it's the money element, that's different. That creates the stress with the creative mind. Money, oh God, oh, how do I price my work? How do I value myself? How do I value my work? Oh my God, I think I'll just retreat back into my studio and stay there and ignore that bit. Thank you, good luck. When really, that is what makes a business. You have to be able to sell it. So when you start selling to people that you don't know, and when you attract and talk to your ideal client, when the part comes to actually sell and people are saying, yes, I love what you do, and you say, oh, that's €150, no one blinks. They go, cool, that's fantastic. So think about how that will make you feel when you're not struggling or haggling or cringing and not feeling confident around the price point of your work. When you find that ideal client, you might only have sold to one yet, an ideal client that you don't have to struggle with, that you don't have to argue with. When you find that one person, your objective as a business owner, and especially a creative business owner, is to find more of that particular person and sell to them, because they get it, they understand you, they want your work, and they are happy to give you money. Imagine how that makes you feel. I am worth it. I am a business person. I am creating something people actually want to give me money for. It changes everything. So figure that out. Who is your target market? Who is your target client? And how are you going to create that avatar, I guess, of who you should be selling to? It's a question. Valerie says, I'd rather give it away. I've been selling in markets to a very varied audience. I think it's time I got an online shop going. There you go, Val. I'm just going to put that up, Valerie, on the screen. That's it. Because you're selling to a varied audience. Now, I think when you're validating or testing your products, it's good to place yourself in markets with a varied audience, because you might only get attention from maybe 3 people out of a group of 100, but they're the people to focus in on. And what I find interesting, and I hear this all the time, is that people get, and it's obviously a human trait, because of confidence and everything, you tend to focus on the number that you get attention wise at markets, or this can translate across the board. People focus on the number. How come I've only 100 likes on my page? You know, only 3 people came up and bought it at the fair. Like, I'm so pissed off, blah, blah, blah. Hang on a second. Flip that mindset, please. You have 100 people. Are they an engaged 100 people that have liked your page, that have said, I like what you do? Or 3 people bought something at the fair? That's 3 of your ideal clients. Like, nurture them, talk to them, get to know them. They're gold, right? They're gold. They're the ones that are giving you money happily for your product or service, telling you you're doing a great job. I really like this. Well done. Here's €50. Here's €1,000. Here's whatever. Get to know them. One, that's all you need. So don't ever underestimate or don't ever go into depression because you're not selling shitloads at markets, or you don't have 1 million people following you on Instagram. The important is the quality of that number, not the quantity. Quality over quantity, gang. At markets, even Val, you might be selling to a varied audience. Know the ones that buy. Talk to them, write the stuff down, get the insight, because when you go online, that's really important information for you to build your online strategy around. Okay, so think about that, gang. Think about that. So step 1, very step 1, do you want a hobby or a business? Step 2, have you validated or tested your product or service? Have you gone out to networking events and talked to other business owners, or maybe to your target audience, about what you do and get feedback? Is this something that people need? Have you done your research? That's really, really important. If it's creative work, you know, what are you selling? What are you bringing to the world? And talk to people. That's the second thing. The third thing, when you do validate or you are testing and you get that positive feedback, or you make those sales at that fair or online, or however you're doing that, know your audience. If it's that one person, figure that avatar out, stick it up on your wall, and that is the starting point of building a business, both online and offline. Otherwise, just as Valerie mentioned, you're selling to a varied audience, which means your marketing is generic, which means your message is generic, which means you're not actually talking to anybody. You're just going, blah, 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 blah. Please, someone listen and buy my stuff. That doesn't work, especially in this day and age when the online space is so busy, and the offline space, by the way. Plus, there's shitloads of creative businesses now, and thankfully, it's a beautiful thing to see. But you need to be up your game, and you need to be really looking at it more strategically. So they're the first key steps from creating a business around your creativity. Any questions, gang, on that? So I'm just going to wait to see if there's any questions. While you're in as well, if you want to be notified of the biscuit box, which is what I'm calling this, every Wednesday at 11 a.m., type box into the comments now, and I will notify you every Wednesday that I'm live. So if you want to be notified, if you want to subscribe to the show, just text or type box in the comments. Okay, that's BOX. Okay. If you're watching the replay too, it means the same thing. So just write box. Okay, so that's what I want to talk to you about this morning. I'd love to hear any feedback or what you think about that, and how far you've gotten on that. The next part of turning your art into a business is, you have you've done all these steps. You kind of have an idea of your ideal client, and then what do you do? I'm going to just cover one quick thing before I go, because it's 12 o'clock. God, Jeannie Mac, it goes so fast, the time. I'm just going to cover one more thing. People always say to me, website first or social media? Which one comes first? I always suggest this. Always create your social media first. Always. Do you want to know why? Type yes in the comments. I'm really bossy today. Right, box. Right, yes. Shut up, Tara. Just tell us. Yeah. I want you to think about it, right? You're wanting to launch a business. You want attention. Thanks, Sinead. I'll tell you now, Sinead, girl. So you want attention around what you do. You want people to know what's happening. So here's what happens. People spend shitloads of time and money making their website, doing their website, the website. And then their website goes live, and then they go into and do their social media. Then the website's sitting there, and there's no traffic except your mom, your dad, and your partner. There's no traffic to the website. So you've put all this work into the website. There's no traffic to the website. And then you're working on your social media, and then you have to do all the social media. And then you get really tired and frustrated because no one's visiting your website. Oh my God, I just put all this effort into my website. And driving traffic to your website is challenging for every business, right? So a little hack, right? Instead of putting all that effort into getting your website all done and polished and glitter and big red bow, and then pressing publish and then feeling deflated because no one's going to it, set up your social profiles first. I suggest picking one, maximum 2 profiles of your choice. I would suggest always, obviously, Facebook, because everybody in the world is on Facebook, and I love using Instagram as well. But if you like Twitter, go for it. Whatever secondary platform you prefer, do it. Facebook, though, I would definitely suggest is the staple. And you might only want to get your head around one, because, there's a lot of work in managing these. Okay, so think about this. You're creating your website, you're putting all the work in, and now there's the social media element. If you do it the other way around, you set up your Facebook page, you put in, you do the back end stuff, the about page, a few images, and you start that rolling. Now, the big issue for social media is content. What the fuck am I going to talk about? What am I going to post about? What? I know what you're thinking. Ah, sure, I'm doing my website. That's what I can talk about. Exactly. So instead of you posting up, hi everyone, it's Tara, and this is my new business. This is Biscuit, and here's my website. Please go and see it. People just go, whatever. Like, are they invested? Do they know anything about you? Have they seen a journey? Have they seen the struggles that you've maybe come across trying to resize images for your website that will be launched in 3 months' time? No. People don't want to just see the finished product. They want to see the process, and they want to get to know you. And that brings us right back to the start of this live stream. And I don't, again, to reiterate, I don't ever want you to forget this bit. You are the most important thing about your creative work. It's you. People want a part of you. Why? Because you're the person with the mind. You're the one with the skill, and you're the one that they want to fall in love with. Okay. That is my bit for today. If you want to subscribe, again, put box into the chat box below this live stream, into the comment box below. Just write box in, and you'll be subscribed to the Biscuit box every Wednesday at 11. Tongue tied. Okay, keep creative, Bickies. Hit me with the questions in the comment box below, and I'll get back to everybody. And keep creative, and talk to you next week. Bye.